Some idiot put this cake's writing in cursive. In college, I worked for a floral shop that shared a space with a bakery. We had the space for both businesses to operate, and naturally it was a good partnership. The story takes place near the end of my senior year when I was 6 weeks shy of graduating with 2 degrees. Although I cared about the stores and wanted them to do well, my nonsense tolerance had dropped significantly, and one day a woman came to me for balloons for her son's 2nd birthday, and she had already picked up the cake. The woman came in and grumpily tossed the balloon choices at me. Ugh, I can't believe the bakery. Oh, is there something wrong? Yes, just look at this cake. She opens the box and it's a nice looking cake decorated with icing and trains and a scrolling script that says, "Happy 2nd birthday, Jackson." You don't see it? I think it's a lovely cake. It's in cursive. Why would they put it in cursive? He's 2. Oh, well, it'll take me a couple minutes to fill these balloons. I bet you could take it back and they could scrape off the old lettering, refrost the blank space, and rewrite it for you. The woman, who clearly hasn't heard a word I said. I can't believe someone's so stupid to think this is okay. Me, yelling above her, "Can your son even read?" And she immediately fell silent, blushed a deep purple, and was silent while I filled her balloons, and she paid without a word. No, you don't understand. If this 2-year-old even sees some cursive script for a second, alright, he's gonna be goo-goo going crazy over that. He says it has to be in print. It's the only way he's gonna eat this cake. Seriously, dude, I think he's a 2-year-old and he's just gonna be too busy smashing cake in his face to even read it in the first place. But whatever floats your boat, man. I love how they handled this. Can your son read? And it was more than enough. At least the Karen realized it, they didn't keep going. Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the subreddit Tales from Retail, which is basically people dealing with Karens, of all types and varieties. And just overall other stories that suck when you're working retail, so I figured it would be something y'all are going to enjoy. But before we get into it, if you like these long Reddit videos, like and comment. And before I can talk anymore, let's get into it. If you're rude and refuse to pay, we have the right to refuse services, even after they're done. So I was in the shop one day and a customer was getting some keys copied. A nice and simple job, and suddenly, while I've got the machine running, some shirtless guy comes in looking frantic, and I tell him I'll just be a minute longer, and then I finish the keys and send the first customer on his way. "Geez, it took you long enough. I need you to come unlock my car." I'm already a little annoyed since it's almost closing time, but I figured he's just a kid, or, got a kid, or dog, or groceries in the car, and give him the benefit of the doubt. Alright, no problem, where is it? "A couple miles that way. My girlfriend drove me over here. You can follow us to it." I get some info from him, the kind of car it is, his name, number, address in case we get separated, and he says, "My phone's in the car, so if you call it I won't answer." And I say, "Well then how about your girlfriend's number?" "Well, hers is in the car too." Alright then, since it's pretty much closing time, I just go ahead and set the alarm and lock the doors as I leave, and he doesn't like this and starts saying how I'm taking forever. Yeah, take a chill pill, 5 extra seconds won't kill ya. I get in my truck and follow him out there, and when we get there, I grab my tools and head to the car. Surprisingly, there's nothing there or in there except for the keys on the seat, no kids or dogs, so now I'm just hoping it's actually their car. "You better not mess up my doors, dude, it's a classic." Yeah, a classic Ford piece of crap. I open it up in about 10 seconds and check the insurance card, and it's theirs. I pick up the keys and go over to him and tell him it's $40, and he looks at me dumbfounded. "You mean I have to pay for this?" Yeah. "Sir, we charge a service fee when a call is taken and we have to go out to location." "Well, I'm not paying you for that. You did it in 10 seconds. I could have done it myself if I had known." "Well, I'm sorry, but I can't just do this for free." I could have, but there was no real urgency, like a life endangered, and he was rude about the whole thing. We normally would just bill someone in the situation, but we've been burned too many times, so we only do that for companies. "I'm not paying for that. I don't have any money." "Well, then if you think you can do it yourself, go for it." I threw his keys in the car, locked the door, shut it behind me, and left. I got home about 10 minutes later, and then after an hour, he calls back. "I can't get it open. Come back and open my car again." "Well, I can come out again, but I'll have to charge you for 2 service calls." "F you, dude. I'm not paying you $80. "Well, then I guess you can call another locksmith. I'm sure he'll be happy to help." Click. I didn't tell him, but the other locksmith charges $100 to unlock cars, and I never heard back from him. I love how this dude is like, "Are you kidding me? I'm not paying you. If I knew how to do that, you could have done it myself." Well, yeah, that goes for basically anything, dude. You pay a surgeon to do surgery because you don't know how to do it yourself. The guy went went to school to learn how to unlock cars. You know, anyone could do anything if they knew how to do it. That might be the dumbest reason I've ever heard not to pay in my life. You know, Mr. Mechanic, I also could have rebuilt an engine if I knew how to do it, so this should be free. They were gonna charge them £400? I work in retail in a UK electronics retailer, and this takes place yesterday and today. So a customer comes up to me looking for a new laptop. I'm showing him around a few of the laptops, and he states he needs something portable but powerful, and of course these two things usually mean a 13-inch laptop with an i5 or i7. Well, what do you need it for? The laptop has to be powerful, but I need it to be lightweight because I'm an international student. Right, alright, well here's some laptops that fit this description. Well, the thing about these laptops is they're usually around 600 pounds to 1,000 pounds depending on the brand and specifications. Now I noticed the customer is carrying a laptop in a carrier bag, so I ask him about it. Just being a bit nosy, but also making conversation as I show him around the laptops. So what's wrong with that laptop? Oh, the battery blew up and it doesn't turn on anymore. Okay, well, can I take a look? He takes it out of the bag and I notice it's a MacBook Air, and being at the store's Apple person, I ask if I can look at it. Now I notice it has another computer shop sticker on the top of it, so I ask about it, and he said I took it there, part of an Apple-style chain with a shop literally down the road people mistake for an Apple store. What did they say is wrong with it? They didn't open it up, but they said it'd be 400 pounds for the problem I told them I thought it was. They quoted it and haven't even taken a look at it. No surprises there. So I took the Mac from the customer and walked him down to the Apple counter of our small store. I plug it into the Mac charger and notice it's lighting up green, but not switching to amber, which it would do. So just out of habit, I performed a little reset, which basically is a hard reset to tell the Mac to get it together, and it turned on. Oh wow, you got it working. Yeah, I just want to check and make sure it isn't a fluke. I got the customer to change the language from his native to English and got to diagnostics, and the test came back fine and the battery reported fine. It's in good working order with no problems, it just needed this reset and now it's fine. However, your charger's toast, so you need one of those. That's awesome, thank you so much. My dissertation was on there and I would have to start it again. Now I just completed my dissertation, so I completely understand the situation and stress of university life. Well, how much is that going to be to fix it? Nothing, man. It was 2 minutes and fast, so don't worry about it. To this, the customer becomes all thankful and happy and tells me he wants to pay for dinner, and I insist it's okay and part of my job. So he's on his way with his Mac in working order and warning not to use the charger and an extra form of storage to keep his backup just in case he loses it again and doesn't lose his work. Today he came back in to purchase the new charger and was looking specifically for me in the store. He had gone out and bought me a cake and macarons from a high-end cake shop. At first I said I couldn't accept it and was thinking of work and the cake obviously costing a lot of money, but after much insistence I did accept and the customer was happy, and I left work later in the evening with a cake in tow and a smile on my face. Not all customers are difficult, and it left me with a lot of joy at the end of the workday. You know, I had to switch it up and throw a good one in there. Honestly, this one's just great because it goes to show that A, sometimes businesses are just trying to rip you off. You should always get a second opinion. And B, not all retail jobs end with you getting slapped in the face by a Karen with a ham sandwich, you know? Every now and then you get some sweet baked goods out of it. Could you imagine if this became standard, bro? Like, you know, I feel like people would have a lot more patience with someone being difficult if when they went above and beyond for a customer, people were bringing them cake instead of just like not anything. But what kind of car is it? Was just reminded of a very old conversation I had with a customer and how strange it was. This was some years ago, so the details are sketchy, although the themes and results are pretty much the same. I used to have a job working selling TVs at a big electronics chain store, and I once had this weird customer walk in and ask me if I thought a TV would fit in his car. I don't remember the TV, but let's say it's like a 50-inch plasma. I'm that old. Obviously, you know, I would need to know what kind of interior space he would have, so I started to ask him details about his car. Alright, well, what kind of car do you have? It's a Mercedes. Alright, well, what type? Mercedes. At this point, he took on a tone as though I wasn't listening. Yeah, those are great cars, but what model do you have? I don't know, but it shouldn't matter. Well, I would need to know what kind of car it is so I can figure out if it'll fit. I already told you it's a Mercedes. I still don't know what kind of car he had, nor do I have any idea if the TV would fit, but I suggested he take delivery instead to avoid ruining the nice interior of his car, and it worked. I love that, dude. Imagine someone being like, hey, will this fit in my car? What type of car is it? Ford. All right, is that an F-150? You know, like, what are we working with here? A Ford Focus? An Escalade? Like, come on. Or Escape. An Escalade is a Cadillac. I'm sorry. I'm out here trying, all right? I'm sorry, I don't know all the model numbers of, like, the Pokemon evolution of the Ford version of cars, okay? I'm out here trying my best. And you probably should know what car you have. It doesn't matter if you don't know what everything on the road is, but at the very least, you should probably know what you're driving. Oh, my card declined? Well, then take this crap back. So back in college, I lost my job due to my school schedule conflicting with the hours of my boss that they were demanding that I work. It was the holiday season, so I decided my best bet would be finding another retailer that was looking for seasonal staff and look for another job in the meantime. I ended up finding a very popular bath and body store in the mall that's hiring. First week, everything is fine and I'm getting the hang of it. I know the products well, the discount is great, and I hadn't had any real wild Karen incidents until Black Friday. Black Friday, I got scheduled a 12-hour register shift. Not the worst thing I could be doing for 12 hours because most people were being pleasant and excited to get shopping underway. Here came Karen. The location I worked at was just over the border into the States from Canada. She immediately came up to the register with easily $400 in merchandise and slammed it down in front of me. I tried to remain pleasant and asked if she found everything okay and if she needed anything wrapped, and this was the conversation. Alright, so we're looking to wrap all this up today, are we? Well, that's your job, isn't it? Am I supposed to wrap it myself? No, ma'am, but you know, sometimes people put these into other gifts so they don't always want them wrapped together. Are all the same scents going together and being wrapped, or is there another way you want them separated? Are you stupid? Just wrap them. Yes, ma'am, I'll get on that just as soon as we complete the transaction. Your total today is X amount of dollars. Will you be paying cash or card? Card. Did you put my discount in for coming from Canada? I'm sorry, we don't offer a discount for Canadian shoppers. I apologize. You're lying. I always get a discount for being from Canada. All right, well, let me call over my manager and confirm that I didn't make a mistake. Give me a moment. I hopped on my headset and called the manager, and he tells me that that's never been a thing. I'm sorry, but I spoke to the manager, and we have not, nor ever, nor are we offering a discount for Canadian shoppers. I do apologize for the confusion there. Ugh, fine. Just run my card and do something useful. All right, ma'am, just go ahead and slide your card for me, and then we'll get this all wrapped up. The card declined. I'm sorry, ma'am, you'll have to get another form of payment. It says this was declined. What did you say? How do you expect me to hear you over these people? Speak up. Your card declined. Do you have another form of payment? You really needed to announce that to the entire line? F you, you can take all this back. She then proceeded to pick up a lotion bottle, one of the glass spa ones, and whip it at my head. That one got her escorted out of the mall and banned by security, but I, on the other hand, was fine, but took off my apron and walked out because the money was not worth it. Speak up! I need you to speak up! I didn't like that you speak up! Here, take a glass lotion bottle to the face. No thank you, alright? No retail job is worth getting smacked in the face with a glass bottle. I don't care what it is that I'm selling or how much the commission could potentially be. Alright, I take that back. If you're offering me $1 billion commission to sell, like, I don't know, rocket ships to, like, billionaires, and, you know, even if I convince them to buy a bunch of stupid stuff, I know that nothing bad happens to them, really. I'll do it. You know, I'd feel bad selling some dude a car he doesn't need. Selling a billionaire a rocket he doesn't need. Who's really harmed in that? You know, not my bank account, that's for sure. Just open up another register. So I work in a smallish size store, and on a typical day, we only have 2 employees, usually management and cashier, working at any given time. This means 1 employee on the register while the other walks the sales floor and stocks. On a normal day, this is more than enough, but occasionally we get a rush of people in the store and we open a second register. If the second employee isn't in the middle of helping a customer on the floor, they always jump onto the register as soon as they're available. Now, our customers are usually understanding and patient when these rushes happen. However, in the last week, I had 2 occasions where full-grown adults threw the biggest fits because there wasn't a second register currently available. The first one happened during our shift change. These are the worst since things are chaotic already. And to make things worse, it was the end of a new employee's first shift. I had just clocked out and was gathering my things, double-checking the schedule for my next shift and who I would be working with. The manager that just came in 20 minutes prior switched the other 2 employees out, and during this time, there was only 1 person in line and maybe 5 groups of people in the store in total. So it was the ideal time to switch them. She took the new person to the office to count their till and help them with clocking out. While I was heading out, the phone went off. The on-duty manager was still busy, so I went ahead and answered it, and it happened to have been another store asking questions, so I sat down and answered a few of them. During this time, everyone in the store decided they were going to leave at once. I had just finished talking to the other store and walked out. Instantly, I was approached by a man asking for what sounded like I was looking for a job. This wasn't uncommon, so I pointed to the poster next to the register that gave the website to apply and explained we were looking for new employees, and the conversation went like this. Hey, I've only got a couple things. Do you mind opening up another line? Sorry, I'm actually off the clock and leaving. However, they're almost done in the office and we'll be able to open it up in a minute. Why can't you just open up a second line? I don't have a draw and I'm off the clock. Why isn't there another damn checker? Sorry, they are in the middle of a shift change and having some technical issues. New person was having a hard time figuring things out. They are almost done and will be out in a minute. If you weren't in that office yapping your mouths off, y'all would be done. This is crappy customer service. That really pissed me off because the yapping, he was hearing me talking to another store about related questions, and the manager guiding the new girl through the end of shifts. By no means were we yapping. And then, as to make me even more irritated, some middle-aged teen jumped in. Why do you have shift changes in the middle of the day anyways? It'd be smart if you don't change shifts. I was done. I don't make the schedule, I just follow it. Someone's gonna be out in a minute. You can either wait here or you can wait in line. Sorry, but I'm off the clock. I walked into the office to let him know the tension on the floor and walked out. The man must have also walked out because his handful of items was on the counter. The funny thing is, the woman that was originally behind him was up at the open register checking out. If he would have waited 3 minutes, he could have left with what he wanted. Nothing was worse than like the walk of terror out of the store or the place I was working in uniform and just hoping nobody asked me a question. Because the amount of times people will be like, hey, do you know? Nope, I'm off the clock. They even tried to make it a rule where I was working for a bit that you had to answer questions if you were like on break or going somewhere. And I'll have you know that nobody was really too fond of that. Because listen, if I'm clocked out, I'm officially no longer getting paid. I'm not answering questions for stuff that I'm supposed to be getting paid for if I'm not getting paid. What do you think this is, charity? No, business is about paying the workers too. You sell stuff, you get paid. You give me a portion of the profits. Policy is policy. I work as a cashier at a construction store, so when people make returns and have no record of making a purchase, they have to present a form of ID so we can issue it a gift card. Their ID needs to be shown or scanned if they want to use the gift card, and if it's the wrong ID, even if it's a spouse, we can't accept it. I had a guy come into my line who was making a rather large purchase, mostly wood, nails, etc., just your basic building materials for whatever construction project he happened to be working on. When the guy got ready to pay, he handed me a gift card and I took it as usual. Hon, I need to see your ID, I just need to see the name. He handed me his ID, I check it over and realize that the names don't match. Sir, not that I'm an expert, but I don't think this is you. Oh yeah, that's my boss. Is he here with you? No. Well, then I can't accept this. You're gonna have to pay with something else. He made a return and wanted to use the money to purchase these. I'm trying to think of the best way to be diplomatic about this. Well, I get what he's doing. He wants to keep all the purchases on one card, right? So he doesn't want to give you cash? Yeah, that's smart. I like that idea. I have people that do that. But if he's not here with you, I can't take the card. I smiled brightly and handed it back to him. Well, I can call him and he can tell you. I mean, even if he does call and I speak to him, it doesn't change the fact that I can't take the card. Well, whatever, I'll pay with something else. At this point, I figured it's the end of the issue. He asked a few questions about the stuff he's purchased and asked me to recheck prices on things, and he finally pulls out another card. Why can't I use the card? He's my boss. I get that, but I can't run it. It's policy. What do you think? I stole it? I gave him a puzzled look. He gave it to me. How could you have stolen it if he gave it to you? I didn't steal it. I didn't say that you stole it. You, and I pointed at him, brought it up, not me. Like I said, I get it. Your boss is trying to make it easier so you can do your job and he can do his. But I can't break policy for you. Next time, just have him come in so I can explain it to him if you want. The guy stumbled over his words for a little bit and then quickly paid and left, and I moved on to the next customer. He ended up coming back in 15 minutes later. You know it was wrong of you to do that. I just gazed at him, waiting for him to move so I can get to the next customer. I really want to speak to your manager. You're more than welcome to, but that's not going to change the policy. He started getting angrier and raising his voice. Why not? What's it even for? At this point, I was still trying to be diplomatic. It's to protect hardworking people like you and your boss from someone trying to use their money. It's a pain in the butt, but it works. This is true. It's to prevent theft, but at that point, I'm just trying to get him to leave. Where's your manager? I motioned to the large sign posted across the store. At the customer service desk. You can talk to him if you want. You should have let me use it. I told you, it's policy. But I have the card. At that point, I just had it with them. I had 2 customers waiting for me to finish up the fiasco, so I decided to put my proverbial foot down and make it very clear that this conversation was over. I'm not breaking policy for you, nor risking my job. I have to get back to work. I motioned to the very kind people waiting on me. If you're gonna make a complaint, then please go do so. He started angrily muttering. With that said, I deliberately turned my back to him and started ringing the next person in line. The guy hung around for 5 minutes trying to get my attention, waving his arms and making hand motions to get me to look at him. I refused to acknowledge his presence at that point because the conversation on my end was over and he wanted to file a complaint with the manager. I figured he'd go do it. Eventually, he left after swearing up a storm when he realized he was getting no further explanations, and I never did hear of any complaints. It's the worst when you're just like following rules that you just have to follow for your job and people start getting mad at you for it. Like, I promise you that the worker didn't make the policy that they're not allowed to use this card without ID. I guarantee you that's not the rule that they invented. They're just trying to do their job, bro. If they were in charge of corporate policy, I guarantee you they wouldn't be at the cash register. You know, people in charge of corporate policy that do stuff like that tend to kind of be in an office somewhere else. That's just kind of how it's been. Nothing against cashiers, bro. I'm just saying it tends to be people who making policies are never in the store where they're actually being used, because otherwise policies would make any amount of sense, and usually corporate policies are stupid. The $198.81 candy bar. I work as a manager for a small chain of these convenience stores, 30-ish locations. I was putting away my main order of the week when a woman comes in asking for a Nutrageous bar. I told her with a smile we had some right in front of the store, and as I pointed her to a blank spot on the shelf. Turns out we had sold out over the weekend, and I had just broken this poor woman's heart and shattered her dreams with false hope. She had been searching relentlessly for weeks and couldn't find one anywhere. I apologized for the bad fortune and said I would order more straight away, and the woman sighed, bowed her head, and walked out of the store like a dejected puppy. I turned back to order, opened the tub, and right on top was a brand new box of Nutrageous bars. I tore open the box and vaulted open the counter like a cop sliding over a car hood and sprinted out the door like I had just clocked out. I caught up with her just as she was starting to pull away from my store, and as she was pulling out, she turned and saw me lumbering towards her, holding the candy bar like a newborn child I had just delivered into the world. I have never seen someone so happy over candy. She runs to me like she's a veteran running home from duty and running towards their children for their first swirling embrace. I tell her she can have it on the house and have a good day. And then, just now, I got a call from my district manager demanding to know if I was the one who gave away to the candy bar to the customer for free. Crap, I think to myself. I do something nice for someone and she called my boss to tell on me? So I tell my boss that it was me, and he tells me that she called and was so happy with our company she would be choosing us for the local volunteer firefighter appreciation gifts this year. $2,000 in gift cards, $25 each for the volunteers. My boss said he was giving me a 10% commission minus the price of a Nutrageous bar. I don't know what a Nutrageous bar is, man, but congratulations on the $200. See, sometimes it does pay to go a little bit above and beyond if someone's not being a Karen. I'm telling you, we gotta make it a thing. Regardless, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought, and of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. If you really want to help me out, I'll put a link to the intro song down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or of course, you could use code Scrubby at the G Fuel checkout. Great way to help me out. And last but not least, 2 more things you can do to help me. I do post some of my content on Spotify, and I'll put that link at the top of the description. So if you want to listen offline without gameplay, whatever floats your boat, you can do that. And of course, you can also get yourself a piece of the merch. That link's going to be at the bottom of the description. Be sure to go check it out. I would very, very much appreciate it. And yeah, on that note, guys, I think that'll do it for the video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.